Bienvenidos, bienvenue, dobro pajalavat wanyin. Hey guys! Story time with Diane Jackson. Once again, here we are. Yes, I'm burning up. I could turn on the AC, but I think I kind of like the heat. Yeah, right. Kind of like the heat. It keeps me alive and keeps me sweating. Anywho, so last time on Strong Love by Donovan Chin, Gabrielle was heading home from being with Roland, the guy that just got rid of his wife because he's so disgusting and nasty and rude and all that stuff. And so that's where we left off. Was it that time when I jumped up because the sweat running down my back? Oh, that was so embarrassing. Yes, it was. So guys, we're up to part 9. Isn't that fabulous? We've got to get done with this story. It's like taking really a long time. And it's such a crazy world nowadays. We talk to our telephones, hoping that someone somewhere is out there watching. And because sometimes you guys don't even put a like, you don't even say hi. I mean, I don't bite, guys. You could say hi. You could say, I like your stories, or you could say, I hate your stories. It's okay. I can handle it. This is the world we live in today. So, guys, we're going to continue on with Strong Love by Donovan Chin. This long time people may never see who knew. Come make with chat story. So part 9, continuing on from where we left off the last time. So, by the time she got her attention back on the road, she quickly stepped on her brakes just in time to avoid hitting another car. Poor child, she's a bit flustered coming from craziness. Gabrielle was so frightened and shaken up that she could not remember where she was. All she was thinking about is what could have happened. She pulled over to the side of the road to get her head together. What used to be a 10-minute drive seemed like hours to get home. Gabrielle decided to stop by her father, Milton, who was just a few blocks away from where she was. Milton was in the kitchen cooking dinner as Gabrielle pulled up in the driveway and rang the doorbell. Her father walked to the door and looked through the peephole, then opened the door, thinking to himself, how could she just show up without calling first? Then he noticed that she wasn't her usual self. Well, hello, my lovely daughter. You look like hell. Eh? He opened his arms, inviting her for a hug. She threw herself in his arms for a quick hug, then released herself and walked past him into the house. He closed the door and followed behind her. Want to talk about it? He asked. Gabrielle replied as she walked to the living room and sat. It's that stupid guy. Ooh, the guy I saw you with some time ago. Some fool, Dad. I am finished with him and never want to see him again. Never say never, Gabrielle. Milton became concerned and sat beside her on the couch. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Gabrielle folded her arms and said, Dad, I said I will have nothing to do with that crazy man. He put his hand on her shoulder and said, Baby, I do not know what really happened, but the reason I would like you to take your time to think about it is because I am not sure I made the right move when I left your mother. In fact, it was a foolish thing I did, and now I'm regretting every bit of it. Gabrielle snapped out of her mood, looked at her dad, and asked, Dad, are you saying you're still in love with mommy? He replied, to tell you the truth, I never stopped loving her. Gabriel's face lit up like a glad puss. Yes! Wow, this is great. Then she seemed confused and asked, But Dad, what about all those girls you're always having? Every time I see you, it's always another girl, young enough to be your daughter. He smiled and said, They were using me and I was using them. She became even more confused. She said, What do you mean by that, Daddy? Trying her best to understand what her father said, she eagerly waited for him to explain. He smiled calmly and said, They were using me for money, but I did not mind because I was using them to try to forget about your mother. It was not long before I found out that it was not working. So here I am all by myself, simply because I did not think before I act. Baby, I just want you to be happy. Just take time to really think about it. Trust me on that. Gabrielle got up cheerfully and stood in front of her father, who is still sitting down admiring his beautiful daughter. So, Dad, why you not call mommy? She would love to hear from you, you know. I can tell you she'll never stop loving you. Mommy would not want to admit it, but I know she still loves you. His eyes opened wide with surprise. You think I still have a chance? Gabrielle said, Of course. You and Mom are the same. You guys need to get together and talk. You both need to get it together. She paused then. Okay, Dad, I will tell Mom everything you told me. How is that for a start? He jumped up from his seat and said, No, man. Me will handle it. Make me handle it. I will work things out. Just don't say anything. Then he tried to change the subject. So what brings you here so out of it this evening? You want to tell me what's going on? Gabrielle scratched the right side of her head as if she did not remember. Oh, that. It's all right, Dad. I will handle it. He asked her, You sure? She said yes. Gabrielle got up and reached for her keys from the center table and then put it in her pocketbook and said, Dad, nice chatting with you, but I have to go and I promise I will not say a word to Mommy. All right? He got up and opened his arms. Gabrielle walked right into his arms and he hugged her gently but firmly. And he held her for a few seconds. She felt a sense of security and smiled. Gabrielle then softly broke away from her father's arms and walked towards the door. He said, Take care of yourself. I love you. You know that, right? Without looking back, she opened the door. With her father walking behind her, she said, I will be just fine. And I love you too, Daddy. He went outside to see her off. Meanwhile, Roland was at his house sitting on the floor in the living room, drunk with a glass of rum and a bottle next to him. He was so drunk that he could hardly speak clearly as he spoke to himself. Why? What is wrong with me? Every woman that come into my life keep walking away. What is making me so angry? Lisa loved me so much, that's his wife, and I love her. But I treated her so bad that I can't blame her for leaving me. And now, Gabrielle, after our first night together, I promised I would make it work this time, but I have failed again. Roland put the glass down and hugged himself and began to sway his body forward and backward. Then he put both hands on his head and started to cry, saying, "Mama, why did you leave me? Please come back, Mama. Come and help me, please, Mama. I need you." At the moment, he felt like he was a child again, reliving one of the beating by his abusive father, who seemed angry most of the time. As he went deeper in his thoughts, he could see his mother's sad, red, tearful eyes with pity for him as she tended to the bruises all over his body after another brutal beating. His mother feared that one day her son would grow up with hatred and take revenge as soon as he was able. So she would tell him that his father beat him because he loved him. He remembered when his mother died, the woman who gave him so much love and care. Roland was only 10 years old and decided he would not stay with an abusive father. He did not have any money to pay for transportation from Clarendon to St. Catherine, where his mother's sister lived, so he walked and hitchhiked a ride on the backs of trucks whenever he could until he got to his destination. Fortunately for him, Jamaica is a fruitful place, so he was able to get something to eat from the trees along the way. But it would be unfortunate if he was caught by any of the property owners. He sat there looking at his life while he was watching a movie. Roland lived with his aunt until he came to New York at the age of 21. Then, sad and drunken, Roland was brought back to the present moment when the empty glass fell out of his hand onto the fluffy burgundy carpet. He suddenly felt pimples all over his body, and then he felt the strong presence of his mother. It was as if this moment Roland realized he himself was just as abusive as his father to women he loved and cared for. The anger he felt towards the woman in his life was due to the unleashed anger he had for his father. And on top of that, he was blaming his mother, whom he loved, for leaving him, which he did not when she died. There is something he never got over, even in his adult life. He would blame the woman for everything. Roland realized that his childhood experience and emotions from the past affected his present life in a great way. Upon this realization, he felt as if the world was lifted from his shoulders. Right there on the spot, he decided that he would get in touch with his father and make peace with him. He began to think that maybe his father was also an abused child and carried the same unreleased anger into his adult life, which made him an angry man. This revelation made Roland begin to sympathize with his dad. 10 p.m. that same night, Gabrielle was at home getting out of the shower when she realized that she left her phone in her car. She put on her robe and went to get it. She took the phone and was checking to see if she had any missed calls. On her way back into the house, she saw a bright light. She turned around and she saw it was her mother, Ida, who pulled up behind her car in the driveway. She was coming from a night service at church. Gabrielle opened the door and waited. "Hi, Mama. You are late," she said as her mother walked up to her and replied, "Yes, my child. I had to drop some of the sisters home. Thank God I am home now." Gabrielle took the Bible from her as she entered the house. She sat on the couch and asked Gabrielle, "So what happened to you last night? How come you didn't come home and you not even call me?" Gabrielle is still standing with the Bible in her hands, looking down at her mother. "Sorry, Mom. It was late when I decided I was not coming home and I did not want to wake you." Miss Ida raised her voice as she responded, "And you could not call all day? How do you expect me to feel? All night, all day, I don't hear from you?" Gabrielle felt bad. "Sorry, Mom. It will not happen again." Her mother got up and took her handbag. "Let this be the last time. I know you're a grown woman, but have some consideration for me." Then she walked upstairs to her room. Gabrielle following behind her. "Mommy, I said I am sorry, Mommy, and it won't happen again." "My daughter, I have said my piece." Gabrielle hurried to catch her before she entered her room and put her hand on her shoulder. "Good night, Mommy." "Good night, Gabrielle. See you tomorrow, God's willing," as she closed the door. Gabrielle walked to her room, checking her phone, and noticed she had 3 missed calls. They were all from, you know who, Roland. She hissed her teeth, then erased them and went to bed. 2 weeks later, on a Friday evening, Lisa got back from Atlanta and was in her room unpacking her clothes when she heard the doorbell. She dropped her clothes on the bed and was halfway down the stairs, but her mother had already answered the door and was on her way up to the stairs to get Lisa. "You have a visitor. He's in the living room," she said. Lisa responded softly, "Mama, ow. How do they know I come back? I did not tell anyone that I was coming back." Her mother said, "Come see for yourself." Lisa was thinking maybe it's an old friend dropping by to give her a surprise. So she started to smile as she made her way into the living room and bracing herself for a pleasant surprise. To her annoyance, it was Roland. "Yes, my love, Roland Brighty." She slowed down her pace and took a deep breath, forcing herself to be calm, forcing herself not to be angry. "What do you want?" she asked. Roland was sitting with his back turned to Lisa. He got up and turned toward her, and as she walked towards him, waiting for an answer, he began to kneel in front of her. The good old kneel down technique. Not fall feet, Lisa, don't fall feet. "You might as well get up and leave because I don't know who you think you can fool." Roland remained on his knees and said, "I am not here to ask you to take me back. I am here to say that I am sorry for everything I ever did to you. I know deep in my heart all you ever did was to love me, and you paid a price for it. For all the abuse I inflicted on you, I beg you please to forgive me." Lisa noticed the man she divorced is not the same man in front of her. The man on his knees seemed more peaceful and gentle, which reminded her of the way he was when they first met. She stood there, trying her best to remain cold towards him and not to give him a hint of how she was feeling inside. She always see him as a very attractive man. She looked at his begging lips that kissed her body gently so many times, and she began to melt inside. So we come to the end of part 9, my love. Yes, my dear. We are stopping right to Yasso. And remember, Strong Love by Donovan Chin. So we're going to talk a little bit. Yes, so Roland is bouncing from here to there and everywhere. But it's good maybe that him wake up a little bit for notice that what he is doing is very disgusting to other human beings, you know, because he could hurt somebody. He could, as in these abusive relationships, when the women stay and don't try their way out, some of them end up you know, losing their lives. So we want to stop right there on our amazing story, Strong Love by Donovan Chin. And you can tune in next time, ladies and gentlemen, for part 10. Yes, we have to get through this story. And I hope you are liking and sharing and encouraging others to tune in to Storytime with Diane Dixon. Now, this is not the only thing I do. I also do little skits. I also do my little breathing moments where I talk and encourage people to go on with their day. I'm also an actress, a singer, dancer. I also perform as Miss Lou. I'm also an MC, and I do a lot of stuff, honey. Commercials, off-Broadway plays, and so encouraging you, if that is your dream, pursue your dream. Don't give up. I know it's hard. Some of us have to do an additional 9 to 5, and that's our little part-time hustle. But if I could afford to do my acting full-time, I would. So listen, spread the word, share, tell if you know someone having a fabulous movie, play, whatever. Talk to Tyler Perry, tell him you know Diane Dixon and she's a fabulous actress. Denzel, all those people, Viola Davis, and it's my Shirley Ralph. Tell them y'all know somebody. Help a sister out. So ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of part 9, as I said before. So have a fabulous night. Cheerios, toodaloo, all of you. Kachifo, sayonara, dos vidania. And thank you so much for listening to Storytime with Diane Dixon. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.